sure we mention the orientation
Okay.
or the open house. Open house. Change the word. Okay.
Hey, power people.
Hey, hey.
We're back. We're so colorful over here at the Womb Sauna, by the way. If you ain't noticed, I'm having so much fun with our tech and trying all of these different colors because I believe colors are even therapy, but that's not the topic of this live. But I love being able to just be vibrant and send that energy through the internet. Go ahead and put your name, your location, and the name of your business if you are listening live or catching a replay and you are an entrepreneur, you're an empowerment professional, maybe you're a mentor, a coach, a consultant, and you're catching this, a healer, right? Like, we want to know who's here. We want to know who you are, and we want you to be visible. We want that to be your daily habit, not your habit when you feel like it, but your daily habit. Because you are the money. Put that in the comment section. I am the money. You are a currency. You are your own economy. And it is important to us that you know how to leverage that you know how to show up fully in your own expression of yourself and monetize that. So, as promised from our last live, we want to put on your radar April 14th. It's the 14th.
13th.
Sorry. See? You see? This is why I need
Saturday the 13th.
Saturday. Everybody pull up your calendar. Don't just write it on a post-it that you're going to lose. Okay. Pull up your calendar and mark Saturday, April 13th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are hosting a free, intimate, virtual event for empowerment professionals where we're going to continue to mine this conversation about how you need to leverage community in your business model. And so today we wanted to pop in and talk about ultra independence and how it is costing you in business. Your insistence on holding a value system that you are alone and you got to do so much on your own is translating into the loss of revenue, real dollars and cents. It is costing you because relationships are currency. Put that in the comment section. Relationships are currency. Put that below. Because listen, most successful businesses will tell you their greatest source of leads comes from other people. Am I lying up there? It's no. Like, oh, and let's just talk to the sisters for a second because, you know, both of us are Black and we have this beautiful hair and stuff, right?
Yes.
You find a hair product that you love out there. What's the first thing you do?
Tell everybody.
Like, rice water I saw in the Target. Or what, like, girl, this new hair grease. My best friend lives in Atlanta. I'll be taking pictures of stuff, sending it to her. She's like, oh, I'm in the Walmart now. Let me go look for it. Yes. Right? Relationships matter. They are currency and they make a business highly profitable. So let's unpack what relationships you cultivate, because if you are creating relationships from your ultra independent brain, the part of you that feels like you are subconsciously in survival mode, you bring into community spaces scarcity and lack vibrationally. And Althea was hearing me blow off some steam earlier about how offensive and disrespectful that is. But I'm going to reserve some of that fire. Let's come through. But it's like, you come into spaces with an expectation to be accommodated because you've been through so much. And life has been so, like, okay, life is intense for everybody and can be hard for everybody. But because you are in this ultra independence, which is birthed from your trauma brain and your survival mechanisms, right? Now, when you show up in a coaching container, when you show up in a training community, when you show up in a sisterhood tribe, you're bringing this energy of please accommodate me because my life is hard.
Come on now.
And so now all of a sudden you become an energy leak in the space. When your invoices due, you can't pay it, and you have no conscious awareness of how that impacts everything that's been configured in the space because you move in ultra independence. So your mind is so tunnel vision on what's going on with you, you don't even have the capacity to think about what's going on with anyone else. Yeah. And how your demand on the community to accommodate what's going on with you affects everything.
Everything. It's all connected. It's all connected. You mind if I hop in there for a second? I'm going to hop in now. So, as you're talking, I have some notes, but I was just like, well, like that's like a perfect segue. Because when you come in and you're so focused, like you said, on yourself, it's because you don't trust anybody else to show up for you. That's where the ultra independence is birthed. Where it started, that's something that each one of us will have to examine within ourselves. But at some point, maybe even as a child, you thought to yourself, I can't trust other people to help me when I need help. I can't trust other people to do it the way I would do it. And so then you grow up and you go through life and you're like, okay, well, I'll do it myself. But at the same time, you never learn how to work with other people. And then you never really truly consider the other people. So it just goes right back to what you were saying. It's like you're moving, you're trying to make progress. But because you're just so stuck, you don't even realize the damage that's being caused as you're moving through thinking nobody else has your back, which is pretty crazy. And then you bring back that energy to yourself and you say, see, I knew nobody had my back, but you didn't even... You never even gave people the chance because you came in with the wrong energy, already assuming. And then you were taking, and not giving, thinking that it was owed to you or you're entitled to it without putting in the work.
So how does this translate to those of us who have chosen the path of being a healer, a coach, consultant, whatever the term is? You know, it expands and changes every year. Because we understand that we're going to attract clients and customers who need what we have and the medicine that we have monetized. But, you know, Althea and I, when we curate the Womb Sauna University and the certification program, we are often having to teach the women how to be visible and show up in the correct vibration to even pour the medicine in.
Yeah. And, first.
Yeah. And I realized that my habit of overgiving and being too generous was creating an environment within my business model where people were okay and comfortable asking me to accommodate things that were not my responsibility just because I agreed to be of service to them. And I said, Althea, I'm going to need your Virgo brain to help me close this blind spot because now I'm getting angry about breaching my vow with myself to keep my energy balanced and resourced correctly. Some of you listening right now have quit on your business ideas, or you stalled everything, or you've, been shut down internally and you're not able to fully show up. So you started making things more transactional in the business instead of heart-centered because you had a similar blind spot as me. You were too generous. How does our generosity intersect with ultra independence out there?
I think sometimes it could be a result of that, actually. I think the excessive, I don't know if I want to use excessive, but the overgiving can be a result of the ultra independence. Because just speaking from my own personal experience, I have been very ultra independent throughout my life. And since I was a child, I thought, okay, if I give and give and give, then I'll get something back. I'll get what I'm giving back. But what ends up happening is without those boundaries, then you're going to have people that just continue to take and take and take. That makes you feel nobody is there for me. Nobody's having my back. And then you just keep going about life and the cycle continues. So when we keep giving,
you produce a business model and pricing model and service model that is centered in your rage about people not. So now you skyrocket your prices. You do all these things as a reaction to your overgiving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As you were saying that, I heard the words performative generosity.
Mm-hmm.
Is the stuff that you give to the marketplace, is the stuff you give to your family, is the stuff you give to your children, your subconscious attempt to receive love?
It can be.
So when that's the driver, I'm going to sign up for this program because I want Tama's love, or I'm going to do this over here because I want Althea's attention. And you know what I mean? And because we're adults and because we're, clicking buttons and putting in our card, and we think, okay, I'm in alignment. But honestly, vibrationally, are you really in alignment? I'm going to go birth this business to address my trauma wounds. And then I'm surprised that all of the clients attracted to me are in their trauma wounds. Well, let's go ahead and trace the energy and get very clear with where we are vibrationally, with what we give and what we receive and what we offer to other people. This is why we have curated this space once a month for empowerment professionals to come and refresh. And Althea and I are willing to pour into you and help you reset your clarity about why you're even doing the things you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be ready for what we pour, because we don't do surface level stuff here at the Womb Sauna. We don't. We are going to not only give you some things on the 13th, but we're going to invite you to take action on the very behaviors that got you where you at to begin with, that got you in chronic burnout and exhaustion to begin with. And we facilitate that through our own community here at the Womb Sauna. We absolutely are inviting people to become practitioners and practice this higher level expression of tribe life, because tribe life is the advantage. Put that in the comment section. Tribe life is the advantage.
Period.
What happened to that girl? Period. You remember her? I was like, if she can go viral, I know my rap skills can. I just feel like Hot Pot can bring the steam. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like I need a break. I digress. But I think that we should give them, like, what is step one to even recognizing that I'm functioning in ultra independence, which is a trauma response, and I need to practice another level of self-acceptance and vulnerability and come out of this performative energy if I'm going to be an influencer and offering services that people in the world need. So that's step one. And then step two, we need to give them a practical step on how do I engage in community life at this higher level of understanding. So let's tackle step one, Althea, because your Virgo brain is pretty good with step. When I give Althea step 1, 2, 3, she's like, boop, 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 she crunches it.
So I'm thinking again, like our last live, pull out some paper and a pencil or a pen, whatever you want to write with, and ask yourself some questions. One of the questions can be, how often do I ask for help? Because I know a lot of times I will just go about whatever I'm going to do. And throughout my life, I just stopped asking for help. I didn't even know how to ask for help after a while. And as a result, I just kept doing more and more things. And of course, Thema, sometimes I'm still recovering from all of that. And I just offer to do all these things all the time. It's like, oh, you got this problem. And I'm like, my brain has already mapped out all the steps that you need to solve it. And I'm like, here you go. And they didn't even ask for my damn help.
Why do we do that? For real. It's like we be doing the most.
Yes.
Sometimes even Althea, I'm going to share one of our moments. Like, Althea is part of the executive team, and she'll be telling me about something she's struggling with. And because of how I'm trained and anointed, I'll ask her, I'll say, Althea, so tell me what you tried already to resolve it. She told me she done spent time on Google searching and did all this. And I'd be like, Althea, why you ain't just text me or call me? And we just laugh like, Girl, do you know how much, this is for all of us, do you know how much time we waste trying to be perfect?
Yeah.
Even though perfection is not required to have a positive impact. How much we waste. That's what I mean by energy leaks. You know how much energy gets drained because instead of having the necessary conversation with yourself and with other people, you bobbing and weaving and avoiding and shaming yourself. When shame comes in, what follows is punishment. So now you don't feel worthy to even tell people the truth. I remember I've ruined a lot of relationships because I didn't know what I could afford. I remember I hired this $1 million coach. And I was so grateful. He was excellent, the best coach I've ever had in business. I could not pay him. And I knew I could not pay him. I think he knew it too. But I knew I could not pay him. But I was so terrified of confessing that I acted like I could and ruined that relationship. From my perspective, his perspective, he probably doesn't because he still is accessible to me and was invested in my success regardless of how much money I had. And that's what made him the best coach that I ever had. But I had so much shame that I could not fully receive everything that was made available to me and leverage it correctly. And I had to reconcile with myself about how I can ruin and miss blessings that have been lined up for me because there is no healing without the truth. I had to get honest with myself. Like, you sitting here making financial commitments without checking your budget.
That part, yeah.
What kind of wishful, fanatical thinking are you laying at other people's feet? Not considering what it costs them for their oil and to pour it on your head. And then you want to go out here and run a business and you don't think any of that energy is going to be in your orbit when it's inside of you?
Yeah.
So how you getting mad at people missing their payments and not signing up for stuff and following through on their word? Where are you incongruent with yourself? And when are you going to stop being honest about that so you can truly get free and fully recover from the things that even put you on this path to begin with?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like back over.
Yeah. So even tying what you just said into the step one, asking yourself, how often do you ask for help? And then ask yourself, how do you feel when you ask for help? Do you feel good when you ask for help? If you're feeling good when you ask for help, you might not be dealing with the ultra independence. But if you feel the shame, like you mentioned, the shame, feeling like you're unworthy of someone helping you, feeling like, well, I might as well do it anyway because these people aren't going to be able to do it the right way. Any of those things, how do you feel? Do you feel anxious when you asking for help? Those are really good things to ask yourself to at least identify, am I dealing with ultra independence? Another thing that was popping up in my head was, to do a body scan of yourself at the beginning of the day and when you're going to sleep. One of my favorite authors is Napoleon Hill. He talks about how when we are in alignment with what we're supposed to be doing, when we wake up in the morning, we can tell what our vibration, our energy was the day before based on how we feel when we wake up in the morning. He said, if you wake up feeling really tired and drained, you probably had a lot of negative thoughts and negative things going on the day before. If you wake up feeling refreshed and energized, then you know that's how your day was the day before. So it usually takes a little while for it to catch up to you. So definitely doing a body scan, feeling like, how do I feel today? And if you feel like you're all alone and you wake up feeling alone, I got to get through this day because I have 50 million things on my to-do list and it's never ending. You might be dealing with ultra independence. There's no reason why you should feel like your to-do list is always never ending. Every once in a while, maybe it feels like a lot. But if that's how you wake up feeling every day, it's a sign. It's It's right there in your face.
That's a good point. That's a good point, that what you're putting on your list may be unnecessary. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's not your ability to accomplish what's on the list. Maybe it's the list you put together that's the problem.
And the ability to be okay with delegating. Mm-hmm. That was a big one for me. I wasn't sure how to do that for so many years. It's like, just do it myself. By the time I think about what I got to tell the other person to do, I didn't know what to do. I have literally, just a real life example. I have children, as you know, 3 of them now. And when I first, when I first had my son, I remember, and he's turning 13 on Friday.
What?
When I first had him, I know, right? Isn't that crazy? When I first had him, his first couple birthdays, I would ask people for help to help me plan the party and to do the things. And guess where I was? In the kitchen doing everything myself, because I didn't even know how to tell people what to do. They would be like, okay, what do you need me to do? And I'd be like, wait, just give me a second. Let me finish this thing first. And then I couldn't even like separate my brain from the activity that I was doing to even stop and say, okay, if you could put the tablecloths on the table for me, or if you could put the napkins out or put the fork, like all that stuff was in my head and I knew I had to do it, but actually communicating it to someone else was a real challenge.
Was it a challenge because you felt like you needed to make sure everything went smooth?
Yes. I felt like if I didn't do it, it wouldn't have worked out how I needed it to work.
Do you know where that came from though? Like, where does that thought come from? Because I can relate to that. Even with the last healing room, all the volunteers were there. It was incredible. It ran so smooth. They was like, Thema, tell me what to do. And I'm sitting there trying to lay stuff out. And I just stopped. And I was like, I don't know how to make this vegetable platter look pretty. Can you do this? Mm-hmm. And they're like, of course. But when I sit inside of what you just said, like there's a value system that says me being able to take care of everything is a good thing. Mm-hmm. And until there's room to acknowledge that you being taken care of is a good thing, then you won't take care of everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think where it could stem from. Some of it could be just education. You know, we go to school and we got to be the best one. We got to be the one with all the answers. We got to get all the answers on the test right. And even though that has nothing to do with putting tablecloths and forks out for a birthday party, it has to do with how my brain associates what I'm able to do with how good I am as a person or what I'm worthy of, or like you said, the value system of, am I good enough if I don't know how to do everything? But then you have people here like, I can help you. And they usually know because they experience it themselves. They may have thrown birthday parties. You know, it'll be like my stepmom trying to help me. She's raised me. So she knows the work that goes into throwing parties. And still I was having a hard time just being like, if you could do that, it's a trust thing. You don't trust that it's going
to get I just had an aha as you said that. This about to get deep. I didn't think we was going to go here. But if in fact it is the mother who teaches all children what they deserve, then ultra independence is probably the fruit of being improperly nurtured.
Yeah.
And if we come from single mother homes or homes where there was not a balanced care of the mother, the child subconsciously believes that they need to become responsible sooner than they need to.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm glad you came back to that because that was another thought that I lost in transit somewhere.
It's Mercury retrograde.
When you're a child, not only do you feel like, oh, somebody's not there for me, but some people may make you feel bad for asking for help.
Ooh.
It's like you should.
Like, don't you know I just got in from work? I need a moment. Why are you asking me for right now?
Or even just like you should already know how to do that. Why are you asking me for help? Like it could be something like tying your shoes. Yeah, I already helped you a bunch of times. Did we say that at the same time?
Yes.
Oh my God. I was reading your lips and I was just like, whoa, wait a second.
Our brains work together. That's what happens when you work with the womb salt. I tell you, our brains merge and we become one.
We cannot make this up. So yeah, it's like learning how to tie your shoes. Like I already showed you how to do that already. Or even just, the funny thing that Black people share all the time. If Jimmy had 5 apples, how many apples, they yell at you during the homework. Why are you asking for help during your homework? It's a point of like, the homework is the learning. And it's just like, I grew up in a household like that. I did. And my parents, I got so good at my work, they didn't know how to help me when I needed help. So sometimes I would ask for help with my homework.
Not only did you get criticized for needing the help, but then when you became really good at being independent, you were celebrated and rewarded.
Yes. Like, look at her. So the reward and the punishment.
Oh, she's an old soul. Look at how she can just do it on her own. Mm-hmm. And then here we are all these years later is trying to serve the people from these parts of our trauma brain.
Yep.
That turn on as soon as we're like, well, I did that discovery call, but I don't know if they really understood my value. So let me give them more. Mm-hmm. And it puts us in this performative energy because we're trying to prove that we're valuable and worthy of what we are inviting people to receive from us.
Yeah.
Okay. That was deep.
I'm gonna add one more thing onto that because it's coming to me. It's from my own personal experience as well. Sometimes it's not asking for help or saying no or giving too much. That's the thing. That's the issue. It's the anxiety that follows. So for me, a long time, even just recently, I kind of had to face this where I was having trouble saying no or doing too much. It's like, it's a process. It didn't take me overnight to get this far with having all this going on. So it's going to take me a little while. I have good days. I have not so good days. But I realized it wasn't hard for me to say no. No, I cannot do that. No, I'm not available. It was right after I said that, my brain is like, but wait, let me check my schedule. Maybe I could squeeze them in. I might have another 15 minutes somewhere else. Oh, wait, maybe I could actually just move this other appointment around and maybe my other client is more understanding. I could just, it's like, Althea, put your phone down and walk away and go manage your anxiety somewhere else because this person may not have valued your time and energy at the time that you gave it. And now they want an accommodation.
Mm-hmm.
Say no.
Mantra, I have 2 mantras around that. The first is they got a God too. They have a God too. Mm-hmm. And when you insert yourself as the solution, you can actually end up becoming the problem in what God is trying to teach somebody else. Mm. So sometimes you just got to fall out and let them and God reconcile whatever it is they're going through. And then my second mantra is, I understand, but I am not required to accommodate. Mm-hmm. I can understand all the reasons of why you need me, why you want me, why you can't figure it out. I can understand how difficult your scenario is, but I am not required to accommodate and take that on vibrationally. Absolutely. And then ask my business to take it on vibrationally. Mm-hmm. Big Mama Woonsana, her spirit be like, girl, you doing too much. Like, how much do you think I'm supposed to produce when you keep allowing these energy leaks to occur within my being, within my body? Like, at some point, we got to seal up these links and have some empowered boundaries. Go get the ego to the store and tackle. Empowered boundaries. That's so good. When you said that, there are times that I have immediately after saying no, or even after some time, feel really guilty. Mm-hmm. And I feel guilty because I know the value I can create in that person's situation. Yes. But I also feel like sometimes people bring me to a crossroad where it's like, do I give you what you need, even if it costs me what I need or what my business needs? Because if it was up to me, if we wasn't in capitalism, I would just be giving this to everybody. But I have like rent. I have bills. I have groceries to buy. I have an 8-year-old child who's always going through a growth spurt. What makes people feel entitled to come and tap into your energy and not reciprocate, not just money, but like whatever it is that you tell the marketplace you need to feel secure in the exchange? Mm-hmm. What happens in the mindset of someone who says, I should change that and ask you to give me this?
Yeah. Entitlement.
That toxic entitlement. That's the wounded you who feels like somebody owes you something.
Yeah.
And just because you didn't get something doesn't mean you're owed something.
Mm-hmm.
You got to learn how to review your soul contract and figure out why you came here. I'm here like Earth is ghetto. I don't be wanting to be here. For whatever reason, I decided in 2024 that I was going to be here doing all these things.
Yes.
And I'm not asking other people to accommodate what I decided to do in my soul contract. I've made peace with myself. So when I feel all these emotions being triggered, that's when I know, as I said to you this morning, I think it's time for me to go back in my bubble because I put out a lot of energy. There are literally like 500,000 people that resource my energy every month. So sometimes I just got to call it all back, reassess where it's been. And
it feels so good when you do that too. When you call your energy back.
God, what?
The first time I heard about that, I think it might have been a couple of years now. But when I was like, oh, I never even knew that you could do that. Mm-hmm. And then I just sometimes even at the end of the day in the shower, I'll just imagine all my energy just trickling back to me. Mm-hmm. And then I feel so refreshed when I go to bed and wake up in the morning.
Mm-hmm. So and you know what else that taught me? To be more mindful about where I send my energy and allow it to go.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes when I would be calling it back, it would be a lot of work. I'd be like, damn, you paid that over.
Exactly. Yep.
And
because I have to think about all the people that I impacted in that one day. And it's
God.
Yep.
It's a lot of entanglement. No wonder. So some people think who are in this field of work, they think they're burned out and overwhelmed because of the work. It's not your assignment that's the problem. It's not your vision that's the problem. It's your vibrational entanglements.
Mm-hmm.
It's the poor spiritual hygiene. It's the poor energy management. It's the lack of emotional discipline.
Yeah.
That's got your energy all over the place and accessible to just any of that. All they got to do is tell you they need some healing, and here you come. Here you come offering medicine they not even ready to take.
Like, just at me next time.
I
literally like picture somebody running with a medicine bag. Like, okay, I'm coming.
Here they come. I need healing. Or all they gotta do is flatter you and compliment you and tell you how much they mean, and all of a sudden you want to pour everything on. Look at that. All they gotta do, I'm going to the back of the corners now. All they gotta do is pay the invoice and give you your first high ticket sale. But they're still not ready for you.
Yeah.
It is your responsibility to get very, very clear. And this is why we want y'all to come on the 13th, because we're going to continue to anchor in this wisdom. It is very important that you get very clear about how people access you. That, for me, is a form of self-care.
Yeah.
If you don't have clear terms, and I'm not saying clear to everybody else, clear to you about how people get at you, how they can get your direct energy. This is part of the reason that I have so much social media presence. This is part of the reason I have over 200 videos on our YouTube channel. So I can sleep and not have to always give direct access to people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You go watch a video, get what you need. I know it's 5 years old. Wisdom is eternal, right? So it's like people don't give themselves permission to truly take space and create the necessary barriers to protect how their energy is flowing.
I have a book excerpt. I'm going to find it for Saturday and read it all about that. Building the walls is different layers. And the innermost layer is just for you. Not even your partner has access to you when you're in that space. Not your children, your parents, nobody. Only you and God. So I'm going to find it.
I love it. Anytime I need to go sit down inside of the cosmic womb of the Divine Mother, I know when I'm there, I call it the 0 point, because it's empty and the only voice I can hear is my own.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I like it here. I would stay there if I could, but I got stuff I got to do here. But yeah, but I just love that clarity that, like, you are the solution to every problem you're experiencing in your life. Mm-hmm. And when you're clear on having that kind of power, you don't show up and interact with other people in a way that says, I need your energy to resolve this. That's not what's driving the relationship and the interaction. What's driving the interaction is, oh, I think we're on the same frequency. Mm-hmm. And those are different kind of relationships. And I dare say they are much more profitable.
Yeah.
Much more profitable. So I hope y'all are hearing some things that you needed to hear today. I hope that you go to thewombsauna.com/events and you sign up. It's free. It's free. Come on. What I mean, why wouldn't you be there? I don't understand why you wouldn't be there. If you've been hopping on these lives and getting gold and getting what you need, then why wouldn't you show up? Now, don't show up and be an energy link in our space because I'm in a calling out season. So, I teach a class on firing clients and customers. I have turned off on people and nah, this ain't gonna work. So, but in all jokes aside, but that's a valid teaching. We might have to fold that in on the 13th about what it looks like as a business owner to have boundaries with the people you're called to serve. So let's make a note of that. Maybe we'll bring that and expand on that on the 13th too, because you have permission. Just because you have the gift of helping people does not mean they are entitled to your help. Doesn't mean they're even ready for it. Mm-hmm. And just because somebody asks for it doesn't mean they really understand what they're asking for.
No.
Right? And so, yeah, this was a good conversation, and I hope it was a blessing to you. And if you can't make it on the 13th, we do offer that space once a month. If you go to thewombsauna.com/events, you'll see all of the wonderful things we have coming up in the marketplace to just keep seeding and planting this wisdom and this power in the marketplace. Althea, is there anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
Just an announcement about the healing room.
Yes. So our focus this month is rebuilding your self-esteem. Rebuilding your self-esteem. It's one thing to be busy and living a full life. It's another thing to be satisfied with yourself. Mm-hmm. Two different vibrations. Could y'all feel it? Put it in the comment section if you could feel the difference between, oh, I'm busy. I dare say it's a difference between being successful and actually being satisfied.
Absolutely.
So every third Saturday of the month, we offer the healing room and open the doors. I invite you to come with us. We're here in Maryland, and sit down and receive what you need to rebuild your self-esteem. We're going to be doing some mirror work and some chanting and just some powerful things. And then we hold space for what I call high vibrational networking. So I want you to meet other people of like mind and spirit and connect with them and bond and create really great relationships that can change the trajectory of your life. So you can also go to thewombsauna.com/events and register for the upcoming healing room. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Woo, we covered good ground.
I mean, if they don't get the message from that, I don't know. They're not ready.
So as we close out, I'm going to give them a closing out mudra and blessing. So you're going to take your hand like this. You're going to wrap this hand around your thumb and just press this finger in like this. This is a mudra that helps you comfort yourself. Your anxiety is running high and you need to just kind of bring it in. And sometimes I'll add placing my tongue on the roof of my mouth when I do this to just seal up my energy and call all my energy back in. This is like hand yoga. This is a simple tool that you can incorporate into your life to help you be comforted. Be a gift to yourself. We love you, and we'll see y'all on the 13th. And we'll also see you on, it's the 20th?
Yes, the 20th.
Healing Room. We'll see you there. Love y'all. Peace.